Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Joker's Mustache. I am Vince Russo, and I am here with the great R.D. Reynolds, who is cheering for Mr. Freeze. Another week of some great attire. I love the shirt. Would you mind standing up a little bit? I see Joker. Oh, man. Look. Oh, my gosh. What a tremendous shirt. What a great shirt.
I see you also dressed up for the occasion. Appreciate that. Yes. Showing off the guns. Yes, the gun show.
Now,
Kids, if you ever wanted to go to the Russo gun show, there it is, right there.
now, RD, you got to help me with this episode. We got to backtrack a little bit. I know you are the Batman aficionado going all the way back to the serials. I mean, the black and white serials, the comic books. You know your Batman through and through.
I try to. I am not the ultimate bat expert. There are people that know far more than I do, but I know quite a bit.
Quite a bit. I think it is very important. We touched on it last week. I think it is very important, again, based on this episode, you got to give us a little backstory on Mr. Freeze, because from the backstory you've given me and from what I've assessed, just, doing some research and stuff, we kind of have in this episode, is Batman a babyface or a heel type of a thing? Big time. Yeah. Yes. So again, give us a little backstory as we be prior to looking into the episode of Rats Like Cheese.
Well, excuse me. I guess it would be, I always hate the phrase canon because people get very adamant if something is canon or if something is not canon or what it is. To me, it's fiction. It's not like it's a historical, it's not like it's historical fact.
Right.
People can write anything they want, and then that is what that character is.
Right.
So, but in the comics, it was Victor Freeze, and he was Mr. Freeze, and he was trying to, traditionally, he would go and attempt to, he would steal so that he could try and heal his wife. His wife was sick, and so she was frozen. There's lots of variations on what happens to her. Just to show I'm not just a completely crotchety, curmudgeon-y old man, the animated show Harley Quinn, which has been in the last couple years, it had Mr. Freeze's wife showed up as well. And that was very amusing. She was Mr. Freeze in that series was killed off, and then so she just went out and she just became a party girl. So it's very interesting. Excuse me. I'm sure there are nerds furiously typing that I said something incorrect, but that's okay.
Well, do we know what her ailment or her sickness is?
It's something that he had to freezer. I know that.
Okay. So he kind of took on a life of crime and able to fend for her financially.
Well, he froze her,
right?
Because she had an illness, and so he was taking that, he was going to get the money so he could research a cure for his wife.
Okay. In the meantime, then, what went down with him and Batman that put him in the state he's currently in?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't want to get the nerds even more furiously typing. I'm sure there's several different versions of it, but excuse me. I think that it was some. I don't know. I don't want to.
They touched on it last week, though, in the episode that Batman dropped something on him, right?
This is different. This is completely different because not only is it something where, he's not Victor Freeze on this episode. He is let's see. I actually wrote it down in my
Yeah.
37 pages of notes. Dr. Chival.
Yes, right, right.
Not to be used with chivalry, but more like you would think he would be Dr. Shivers.
Dr. Shivers, Timber Me Shivers. Okay, but going back to last week, what happened again? There was some type of a fight.
Yes.
We don't even know why there was a fight. I don't think that was clarified. But during the fight, Batman spilled something.
Instant freeze on him. So
and that has put him in the condition that he's in. But they never explained the fight, what was behind the fight, just that he got this instant freeze kind of poured on him courtesy of Batman.
That is correct. So Batman, in essence, what Batman did, he threw the instant freeze on him.
Right.
And so now Mr. Freeze has to live in an air-conditioned suit, 50 degrees below zero, as we're told repeatedly. That's what has happened to him. And it was, in essence, it was Batman's fault that Mr. Freeze now has to live in this condition, which he will go into great detail in this episode. What?
It's funny though, man, RD, because just this, I believe this is what, episode 8? Is this episode 8? Yeah, I think it's episode 8, right?
8.
I'm just, this is episode 8, so this series is still very new to us. Yes. I don't know why they wouldn't have given us more of a backstory in episode 7. I mean, are they assuming people watching this show are religiously reading the comic books? Because I wouldn't accept that. I mean, I'm one of these guys. I'm a big fan of the series. I've read some comics, but I don't know it backwards and forwards. But they gave us very little backstory to really make us understand. I wonder why.
Excuse me. I think that I don't think that they actually wanted you to read the comics, because it was not, like I said,
right.
I don't believe it was true to the comics. I'm going to do a little research here on the air just to see.
Yeah, because there's a lot of holes that really make it hard for us to kind of, have sympathy for the hero and apathy for the villain. I mean, they're not giving me enough.
Right. He was Dr. Art Chival.
Okay.
In the series.
Right.
That was not what he was in the comic books. He was, like I said, I think it was Victor Freeze. I'm going to double check that just so the nerds don't get all upset. I know you're not familiar with the nerds ever getting upset.
Oh, I'm not. No, not at all. That doesn't happen. Not in my world. No, not in my world. Not at all. Not at all.
No, I'm sure. So I'm just going to double check this.
Yeah.
Yes. Alter ego Victor Freeze.
Okay. Now, all right, let's go back to the beginning, and then I'm going to let you take over. But the first thing I want to ask you is, I know they want to rhyme the titles.
Yeah. Okay. Right. This was the first thing I said.
Right. Rats like cheese. What did that have to do with anything in this episode?
At some point, your girl, Sandra, Princess Sandra,
right?
She actually mentions rats like cheese in this episode.
Oh, yes, I missed that. Okay.
Yes, she did.
All right, go ahead, man. Take us from the top and let's walk through this.
Well, I have no memory of when she said it. Perhaps it's in my 37 pages of notes.
Yeah.
I did take a ton of notes on this episode.
I got a lot of notes.
And in hindsight, I'm not going to lie, I don't quite know why. But
yeah,
I'm not going to lie, I couldn't watch the recap. I watched this episode like 3 times.
Oh, bro, the recap though, something very significant. Oh yeah, bro. Like wow, I was shocked by this.
Okay.
As we get to the end of the recap, they're showing the still frames. As we get to the very end of the recap, they're showing Batman and Robin fighting Mr. Freeze's henchmen.
Right.
On the still frame, bro, clearly stunt doubles. I mean, like Robin, the Robin stunt double literally is about twice Burt Ward's age. He looks like he looks like Steve Carell, as a matter of fact.
He's the middle-aged wonder.
He is the middle-aged wonder, but I'm like, bro, why? I'm looking at this still, and I'm clearly seeing this is not, Adam West and Burt Ward. Why would you use this still when it was clear as day it was two stunt doubles? I was like, you had to see this when you're editing the show.
How many times do I have to tell you this? When they filmed this series, if people have a Joker's mustache drinking game, this is one of the squares. RD says people when they made this in 1966 weren't thinking that 50 years later people were going to be analyzing this frame by frame.
Yeah, that's no excuse.
Take a drink.
That's no excuse, bro. It was clear as day. I mean, I swear to God, Robin's stunt double looks like Steve Carell. Okay, pick it up after the intro. Go ahead.
So we break from tradition, and I don't know how often this happens in the series. This would be the first time it has happened so far in the episodes that we have reviewed. What always happens at the end of the first? It's always until we get to later episodes. It's always a two-part item. Okay. Yeah. The cliffhanger, and then it goes to the new item. And so Batman and Robin are always trapped, always something, and then they figure out a way to get out.
Right.
It is always upon them to escape whatever peril that is befallen them.
Yes.
That is not the case in this episode.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We don't even go back to where they were frozen. Now, when we left our heroes, they were frozen by Mr. Freeze in front of the hotel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This episode starts like showing shots of city streets and everything else, and we go straight to the hospital or local medical facility if you're a WWE follower.
Yes.
And we are told midnight at the Super Hypotherm Deicifier Chamber Mark 7.
Yes, exactly. Now, hold on for a second, because you may owe somebody an apology.
Okay.
I'm assuming O'Hara, Gordon, Gotham City Police Force was responsible for picking up our frozen Cape Crusaders from the ground, putting them in some type of a vehicle, an ice cream truck, I don't know.
Amalgamated ice cream.
Yeah, amalgamated ice cream, and porting them to the Super Hypothermal Deicifier Chamber Mark 7.
Right. Well, to be fair, it wasn't specified who brought them there. I'm going to guess that it was probably the fire department.
Wow, so you're not even giving them credit for this,
No.
the Gotham Police.
The narrator continues.
Wow.
Two lonely figures lie quiet.
Yes.
Peaceful, serene.
Yes.
Now, Gordon and the police, and it's not just Gordon and O'Hara, they still do have a couple other cops.
Two other cops, yeah.
They're looking in to a room where Batman and Robin are laying on, it looked like tables. It didn't even look like beds.
Right.
And they're just lying like, I used to have a dog. Love that dog, Piper. And he would just lay on his back and bask in the sun, and he would just put all fours straight up in the air.
Yeah, that did look like this.
That was, I saw that, and I was like, oh, it's my dog Piper.
Yeah.
So they're laying there frozen, and Gordon and the police are just looking at them through a window. And then they begin harassing the guy.
Yeah.
Running the Super Hypotherm Deicifier Chamber Mark 7.
Yes. And his name happened to be Vince.
Yes.
Vince
Mhm.
ultimately saves the dynamic duo.
He does, but not before he goes into some just
Who's hot?
marvelous hyper overacting.
He was hot.
He
hot.
well, when you say he was hot, meaning what?
Mad.
Oh,
Mad.
okay. I thought you
Yeah.
meant like
He was mad. They were
something.
putting a lot of pressure on. A lot of
Oh,
pressure was being put
yeah.
on him.
Yeah. Here's how this went. Because they you be Gordon and O'Hara. And I will play the part of Vince for this.
Okay, you got to feed me my line.
I don't know that I can do it with the because he kind of had your accent.
Yeah.
We should have planned this better, and you could have done this. But
Yeah,
just all you need to do, Commissioner Gordon, is say, "Is there a chance?"
yeah, that's right. Okay.
So,
Is there a chance?
what do you want? Miracles? I'm doing the best I can here. The best I can do. That's all I can do.
Wow, bro, that sounded a little like Rizzo. Like I'm standing here. But bro, at what point did we get two magnificent specimens of mankind?
Yes.
At what point did we get that?
I almost put that down. RD is a magnificent specimen of manhood, but I didn't think that was valid. Yes. So
Is that the sexual overtone of this episode? Because two magnificent specimens of manhood.
yes. Mrs. Steele looked at me and she goes, "There it is, manhood."
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. See, it's not me. Exactly. I mean, that's a very odd word to use, manhood.
So they're laying there like this, prone to the world, and and so that Gordon does say a long and worrisome vigil, I fear.
Yes.
Two magnificent specimens of manhood. Then he goes quiet, looks to the heavens, and just says, "Why?" It was almost like there were people in this episode thinking, "Okay, this is our award winner right here. This is where I get, my award, my television award.
Yeah.
That's the Emmy, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's the Emmy. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
You could tell there were people on this episode going, "This is my chance for an Emmy,"
Yes.
especially your namesake.
Yeah.
Who
Yes.
he was really actually throughout the episode because Vince did and O'Hara had to calm down. Oh, calm down, Vince. And so
but he had a very steady hand, Vince. Very slow, steady, raising that temperature.
Yes. So if you have not seen the episode, this is how Batman and Robin escape being frozen. Vince turns the knob so that they thaw.
Yes.
He turns up the temperature.
Yes.
To unfreeze them.
Yes. Yes.
To which O'Hara replies, "Saints be praised."
Okay, yeah. And here's another thing that was very weird to me. So they're laying on these wooden tables. And like this. And they get de-iced, de-thawed, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing they do is reach over and shake each other's hands. Like, that was very awkward. Why are we shaking hands?
Because that's his chum. My question was a different one than that because I had a different first question.
Go ahead.
They're frozen. When they unfreeze, they're not wet at all.
Exactly. There should be puddles, and they should be, when you defrost something, everything starts dripping. We got puddles, nothing. Just a handshake.
Not wet at all. But, everyone's happy. Batman and Robin are thawed out. And so there's one person that's not happy. That would be Mr. Freeze. And we go back to his palatial estate.
Yep.
Which, again, is in the it's supposedly in Gotham. But it's, again, keep in mind, this is July when this episode takes place.
Right.
And it looks like he is in the middle of Antarctica.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I
Yes.
don't know, even the northernmost part of God, I don't think it would have been quite that nice. So nice and cold. So but Mr. Freeze goes on a monologue, as he's wont to do, and says, he says, Batman, you still live, but only for a short time. And he talks about how he has this precious diamond in his collection. And he says, to get it back, and I'm quoting here, you must die. Die. Die!
Let me ask you this, RD, because that really stood out at me, because I know the first 6 episodes we had Penguin, Joker, and Riddler. They never really talk about die and killing, do they? They do, or it's just that we got to get Batman, we got to get the cowl, we got to get him out of the way. I don't remember them. I mean, hardcore saying Batman must die.
Right. This is Batman must die at my hands.
Right, because this is personal. I guess it's not personal with the other villains.
I suppose not.
Okay. Yeah. He's serious business here, bro.
Yeah. He was not happy. He wants, and it was almost like I said, and we'll get to this later in the episode, but where he talks about, we're talking about these people wanting to get an Emmy for this.
Yeah.
Trust me, George Sanders he's putting this one on his resume.
Yes, he's up there.
He's putting this one on his demo tape. He's going to make sure, look, this is what I can do.
This may be how we got the Sher Khan part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that before this?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I could tell you Jungle Book was 67. So right on the heels of this. As a matter of fact, bro, I wonder if that's why we went to another freeze, because maybe George Sanders was booked doing Jungle Book.
Well, it's I talked about this last episode that I almost fell asleep during. And then he went on to do Jungle Book, which, trust me, is the cure for insomnia. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, now
so you wear a wife beater, by the way. Just
actually, this isn't a wife beater. This is like one of these, like one of these elastic cool shirt gimmicks. Look at that.
Yeah, please, I don't need to see you being as happy as a little girl. We'll pass on that.
Wow.
Did you not watch Sprockets? Speaking of Germans, we could talk Dieter on this show.
Yes. Yes. Sprockets. I know Sprockets. All right, let's move on.
No one else does.
Yes, I know Sprockets. Okay. SNL, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the baseball stadium. Yeah, and this was
baseball game.
Sidebar, of course. This was Dodger Stadium, and the footage they were showing was the Dodgers. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fast. How did you know this?
Because I've been to Dodger Stadium, and it was definitely the Dodgers blue and white uniforms.
Oh, okay. So how about there you go. Fun fact.
Yeah.
The narrator notes that this is a beautiful day at this baseball game. A beautiful day, but not more beautiful than the princess herself. And she's going to throw out the first pitch.
Okay. Are you going to tell me still unattractive to you?
I wish, again, I've got to come up with some way so I can show what's on my screen. Maybe I'll do it on my iPad or something moving forward. It says, I will say this. Sandra has upped her game. She's past Bow Wow status now, and she's settled right into middle of the road mediocre. And that's a big step up for her.
I thought she looked very good.
Okay. Are you going to change I was going to change my rating for her.
What was my rating? 7?
I thought you gave her an 8. I thought you put her up there with Molly, which was
I still had Molly in the lead. I would hope
so.
I might have gave her a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I recall, I gave Sandra a 4.
Yeah. You're going to bump that?
4. If I say 4 3/4, people are going to think that's like a really good rating.
No,
Now,
I'm gonna think you're Dave Meltzer now. Don't give me the 3/4 business. Give me 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no quarters here.
I'll give her a 5.
Okay, all right, up a notch. Okay.
I almost hate to do that. She probably should have been like a 3 last episode.
Oh.
And then we could have gone with a 4. Although and we'll get to this. I saw that. What's the next episode? We'll get to that at the end of this.
Oh yeah.
But I need to keep that.
Zelda the Great. Zelda the Great. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
You know, all the people that watch this and they wait, they that's like the big reveal at the end, and you just threw it out in the middle.
I'm sorry.
They're at the baseball game.
Yeah.
Back to the baseball game.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, they have all these amazing crowd shots. So they have this thing where they film this. You know, they film Bruce Wayne and like the whole Wayne clan is there because Bruce is there, Dick's there, and Harriet's there, Alfred's there, and then the princess is there. And there's some other girl that she just kind of shows up. I'm guessing she was like the gaffer's daughter or something.
Yeah.
And but Sandra starts talking about Batman and Robin, and she said, I would really like to meet them.
Yeah.
Socially, of course. What does that mean? What was she talking about?
Yeah, no, yeah. There's always the hot chick is always telling Bruce Wayne she's into Batman, and Bruce has to sit there playing pocket pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't a hot chick, but that's okay.
My favorite. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
My favorite thing here was a couple of things happened here, which I was very surprised by, because if they would have played this right, I would have popped huge.
Okay.
Burt Ward is sitting. Dick is sitting right behind Bruce, right behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gives him a small package.
Yeah, I think that was the tiniest bag of peanuts ever. Okay.
I was very surprised, though, that Bruce de-shells his first peanut and throws the shell on the floor.
Right.
Which I was very surprised by. A law-abiding citizen like Bruce Wayne, if he would have put that shell back in the bag, it would have popped me huge.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
No, you are supposed to throw. Yeah. But this is Bruce Wayne. This is Bruce Wayne.
He wouldn't want to pollute, so to speak.
Yeah, that would have popped me huge if he would have put that shell back in the bag. But
if he had like an extra bag.
Yeah, yes, that would have popped. But he threw it like any jabron. Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
There's a change in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Diamante is out of the lineup. You'll remember him. He was in the last episode. He's the star pitcher for the Gotham baseball team. We learned that he has been, in fact, kidnapped by Mr. Freeze. And we get the Skyrider again.
Well, hold on. We got to back up a second, though. Because I'm a huge baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the explanation. Paul Diamante is not here tonight. You know, he's not here. Batting for him is so-and-so. And right. We don't know what happened.
It was basically due to reasons. He's not here.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to him. I found that pretty funny, because can you imagine that at a baseball game?
Yeah,
Barry Bonds was due up next, but he's not here tonight, and we don't know what happened to him. But here comes your Skyrider again.
Right. And earlier in the episode, Mr. Freeze did say to his henchman, did we determine his name was Boo, right?
I think so. Yeah, because I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Boo, he was there, and they.
No. I think it was. I have Nippy, Chill, and Mo. Remember, Mo was like the old man now.
I would have sworn that they said this guy's name was Boo.
Boo.
Yeah,
maybe it was Boo. Okay, go ahead.
So he he had told the Skyrider. Or excuse me, he had told his friend Boo, go get the plane to go whatever, vroom, 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 or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was. But yes, so now it says 3 strikes, you're out, Batman. And finally, this makes sense.
Right.
Because now we know it's a baseball reference, and Paul Diamante has been kidnapped
Right.
by Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
So they go to they're at the baseball game. They're literally all sitting, well, like as close as like these things are behind me, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they're making no bones about it. Well, it's Mr. Freeze. You know, we got to get going.
Yeah.
And like the princess is right there. You know, Aunt Harriet's right there. Who knows who else is right there? And they're like, yeah, we need to go. They see the, you know, 3 strikes, you're out, Batman, and they're like, oh, we got to go. We have a board meeting.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
See, now, if that was me and I was the writer,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I would have had a foul ball go in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going in. Aunt Harriet's wrestling Cassandra for the foul ball.
Yes.
Alfred comes over the top, and that's when it's Mr. Freeze. We got to go.
Right.
While they're fighting over the ball, Aunt Harriet's dress is flipping up over her head.
I hope not.
Bruce and Dick exit. They don't.
Yes.
Nobody even knows they're gone.
Correct. Yes. This was.
Beautiful.
This was. They weren't even trying.
No. Yeah. They phoned this one in. This was phoned in. Yes.
So they go to Gordon's office,
Right.
Batman and Robin, and Mr. Freeze calls.
Mm-hmm.
And he is very, you know, he is laughing it up. He's
there was
very
some
pleased.
very lame before that, though. Very lame. They had like some trinkets or something from Mr. Feet where there was that little icicle.
Yeah, what was that? How
Yes.
did the icicle not freeze?
That's
They're
what
like,
I was.
Look,
I
it's
was
Mr.
yeah.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Here's a icicle. That was. I don't understand that.
Okay, so Freeze calls now. Very proud of himself on his high horse.
Yes, and he says, I don't want even a mark, which would be a Deutschmark, which was the old currency in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
He says he wants not even a red cent. He wants Batman in trade for the baseball player.
But prior to that, he makes it clear he took a diamond from the diamond.
Yes, correct.
That's
where it came from.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
And Robin, Dick had also said Diamante means diamond in Spanish.
Yes. Yep.
So okay.
So he wants to trade.
How many different languages does Dick speak now?
A lot.
We're 8 episodes in, and he speaks Spanish and French.
Yes, and Italian.
Greek.
And Italian.
And I thought Greek too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love the way though they're staying in the. They're referencing, to continue to reference baseball because they say that it's a trade. This is a trade. Diamante for Batman. It's a trade.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, Gordon is like, no, there's no way we're giving up Batman for this baseball player. To which Batman explains, no, he absolutely is going to be traded. And says, and I quote, Diamante is the idol of millions of impressionable young lads who look up to him. He must live.
This was awesome.
To inspire the youth of today who will become the men of tomorrow.
Yes. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Let me where's my applause.
Bring a tear to a glass eye as I'm
That was beautiful. And Batman powders.
Batman takes off. He takes the phone.
Yeah.
So it's just me and you, Mr. Freeze, talking.
Yeah.
Nobody else is listening.
Yep.
And so he takes off.
Yep.
Robin goes back to the Batcave. And so Alfred comes in. Alfred doesn't know what's going on. I don't know how, but Alfred comes in and he says, oh, time for your afternoon tea. And at that time, he doesn't serve him like a thing of tea. It looks like an honest to goodness parfait.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now I was like, what? That's not tea. And Mrs. Deal explained to me, and I don't know if she's right or wrong, but considering she's always right, I'll just assume that she is here. She says, No, if it's tea, that just means like an afternoon treat.
Oh, okay. Now, what? How did she derive at that?
I don't know, and at times I just don't
Interesting.
question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm going
Language
to
is
take her
selling.
word for that. I'm going to take her word for that. Okay, I'm cool with that.
So Robin is very happy because he explains to Alfred, Bruce is in trouble, Batman's in trouble, but don't worry, I put a secret homing beacon on him.
Yeah, but hold on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a minute. Let's set the stakes again.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's gone. We go to make the big trade with Mr. Freeze. Freeze is taking Batman for Diamante.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin's excited because Alfred has a strawberry sundae for him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that I am not a fan of strawberries. I don't eat.
I'm
fruit,
not either.
That thing looked really good.
Yeah,
I was sitting there. I had some cravings after that.
But that's more important in that moment than the welfare of.
Sure. Yeah, he was just trying to figure out where Bruce was so he could go attempt to save him.
But again, now we use the bugging device, Shades of Penguin. We're back to the bugging device, right?
They love bugs on this show.
Yes, yes, they do. Yep.
So we switch to Batman. He's out in the middle of a
nowhere.
field.
Nowhere. That's what
it's
Robin
not
said.
no.
That's what Robin said. He's in the middle of nowhere.
He says it's nowhere, but you see like office buildings all over the place.
That's true. Yeah.
There's some trees. They didn't do a very good job of shooting this.
Yeah.
Because you see this helicopter coming in and you see this it looks like an office complex, that the helicopter's coming over. Helicopter lands. Diamante stumbles out, drugged or drunk or whatever. And, Batman's like, are you okay? And, oh my gosh, you're Batman. What's going on?
They chloroformed them. Remember, they chloroformed.
Correct.
So that was chloroform. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Wearing off. Okay.
Yeah. So Batman then goes to the helicopter and says, take me in exchange, and do with me what you will. And then they hit him over the back of the head.
Clobber him. Yep.
And throw him into the helicopter.
Yep.
At this point, the helicopter takes off. Robin shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing. He shows up. He's there to help Diamante, and then also he knows. Okay, this is where I see Batman's been taken. I have a question for you because I had never noticed this.
Yeah.
And again, Mrs. Deal was like, "Well, yeah, of course, he always does." Robin always wears flesh-colored tights. I
swear to God, I was looking at the same thing because.
Okay, so you were confused as well.
I was very confused as well because these were like a tan type of tights. They were not the flesh-colored tights.
And 2 words for this: ill-fitting. They were baggy.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yes, I will, because I was looking at this closely. Something was off. Something was off here. Yes,
right.
I
these
agree.
Look like a pair of sweatpants you throw on a Saturday morning or something.
Yes.
And yeah, he looked very, very weird. That was very, very strange.
You think in the prior scene he dropped the Sunday on the good tights and we didn't have time to wash them, so we had to put the backups on?
I think so. I think that's as good a story. But now, so did he always wear tights? Because I didn't think he did.
What did you think? He was bare-legged?
Yeah.
No, he always wears tights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I thought that was just he was showing off his gams.
No, he's always got real spandexy tights on. Yeah.
Thought he just had nice sticks.
No.
Anyway, we go to Mr. Freeze, who now has Batman in a what appears to be a meat locker. And it was a meat locker, right? Because I saw like a hanging half side of beef.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been
or something.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
And so he is very pleased because he has his foe. Has him right there in the meat locker, and he also has the utility belt.
Good move. Good move. Smart move. Yes.
Yes. So, Batman, again.
But hold on. Let's back up. Okay, I guess he took the utility. I guess he took the belt off of Batman when the goons knocked him out. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got the belt. Batman's in the red.
Yes.
Freeze is in the blue.
Correct. So
Yes.
again, if you're just joining us, Mr. Freeze has to be in 50 degrees below.
Right.
So he has the ability to control different areas of a room so that they are 50 degrees below or 76 degrees, a nice warm 76 degrees.
Right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who keeps their house at 76 degrees? Because that sounds really warm to me. What temperature is the Russo household at?
Bro, let me tell you something. I can answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bro, I'm 60 and I live in a retirement community in Colorado.
Okay.
But this is not a retirement community in Florida.
Okay.
Bro, in Florida, the true retirees, like my 90-year-old dad,
Oh, okay.
bro, they never put on the air conditioning because they try to save money. So when you go in during the summer, the temperature is between 78 to 80 degrees.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying that Mr. Freeze thinks that everyone is a 90-year-old who lives in Florida.
Yes, exactly. That is what I'm saying. Yes. So that's thus the 76 degrees, which is even a little low. So even a little low.
Circumvented my question, my
Yes.
original question. It wasn't what does your
Yes.
father, it was, I'm sure, a very nice man.
You said whose keeps their place at 76 degrees. I told you retirees in Florida.
And then I said, what is the Russo household? I should have rephrased that. What does the Vince Russo household temperature at?
72.
72.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people said it at.
Yeah. Yeah. What's yours at?
What's yours? A little warm for me. I like it, 70.
Ooh, that's a little cool.
I could even go a little cool or something.
That's a little cool. Okay. Okay.
But it's not 76. If it was 76 in here, I'd look like I was.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. I hate that. I hate the stuffy, humid, hot. That's what I'm getting with the 76. I got it.
Wait a minute. So maybe Mr. Freeze is just kind of being a jerk that way too.
That's a great point, bro. Maybe. Absolutely. He does not want Batman to be comfortable.
No, he does not.
I like that.
So again, there's the blue cold area. There's the red hot. I would classify as hot area. And so Batman keeps trying to jump over into the blue area.
But before that, an odd choice of words Batman has for Mr. Freeze here.
Oh, I bet I have it as well.
You do have it. What was it?
He calls him a cold fish.
Very, very odd choice of words. Very odd choice of words. And I swear, again, the writers, we're assuming this is only episode 8. I'm sure it's the same writers.
Right.
You would think they would catch that and say, well, that's more of a penguin term.
Right.
But just that was you cold fish was very weird. But go ahead. So he tries to leg dive him.
Right. He tries to leg dive him. Of course, it's too cold, so he has to get back in the warmth, which we'll discuss in a moment. But yes, so he has to get back in there.
Right.
Mr. Freeze tells Batman, whether you die slow or fast, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of mood he basically says we're gonna see what kind of mood I'm in.
There's a flaw in the story here, though.
Okay. Don't give away the.
I know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to come back to it then. I'll come back to it.
See, I cut myself off.
Yeah. Because there's a big flaw in the story here, but I'll come back to it. Yes.
Right.
Because let's be clear. Batman makes 2 attempts.
Yes.
2 attempts.
And he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Crawling.
Yes.
Crawling.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeze is like, oh, the air is freezing your lungs. If I chose, I can make you freeze to death.
Yeah. Now you know how I feel. So there's a
you know
little
how I feel.
sympathy there now, a little sympathy, right?
Again, well, it starts there because he basically says, this is what you have done to me. This is how I have to live now. It is your fault. This is why you're going to die.
Now, let me ask you this question here. So now when Freeze is getting into it, Batman's in the blue, the lungs are freezing from inside. And now he's saying, now you know how I feel. Now you know how I feel. Is this an opportunity for Batman to apologize? Should there be an apology here, right? I would think a baby face would apologize here.
That is a good point.
But he does not.
He doesn't, and we'll get to something else in a moment.
Okay. All right.
Where we can expand that.
Okay.
Because I think there's more to that. Yes, he could have apologized here for sure.
Yes. Okay.
So Mr. Freeze says, you know what? Let's go have some dinner. Let's have a nice time. I'm gonna make a little heated path for you to go into the dining room. And so he goes in, and then Batman walks in, and there at the dining room table is Robin.
Yes.
Who, he's shaking he just looks so sad because he did not listen to Batman. He went there, he got caught, and now he's Mr. Freeze's prisoner.
Yes.
So they're having dinner.
Right.
And I understand, he's made, them roast beef, and I can't remember, roast beef, and of course baked Alaska is the joke. And then he has wine. He has a certain liqueur, as he calls it, and he shows, look, I can, because of my power, I can put this at whatever temperature I want.
Right. Yep.
And I'm like, it's 50 degrees below zero.
Yeah, it should be ice, right?
Right. And how has Mr. Freeze ever eat anything? He was like eating, like he was eating his roast beef. I was like, wait, shouldn't that be frozen as well?
Great point. Great point.
So, but they're there and they're eating, and Mr. Freeze goes into almost a soliloquy. And this is where I was like, you know what? This guy's got a point. Batman did this to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, you must pay for what you did to me.
Right.
For forcing me to live like this.
Yep.
Never again to know the warmth of a summer breeze.
Yes.
And I was just like, you know what? It says it right there. Right there.
Yes. Yeah.
He is cheering for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Because that was really, really wrong of him. And so does Batman apologize there?
No.
What does Batman do?
He charges him again.
Well, he charges him, but he also says, we can get you some medical help.
Yeah.
And Mr. Freeze goes, in prison?
Right. Exactly. So Batman's lying to him too, not only apologizing, but lying to him.
Right. Yeah. So Mr. Freeze decides, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to kill you now.
Right.
I'm going to keep making the little red square smaller and smaller.
And I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
I thought that was terrific. Smaller, the two of them are in it, and I was going to make it. I thought that was brilliant.
Right. So he makes it smaller and smaller, so there's only room for one of them, either Batman or Robin.
Yes.
Batman pulls Robin in, says, "No, you stay here." And Mr. Freeze is like, "Oh, this is fantastic." Because now Robin has to watch you die.
We missed something huge.
Oh.
We missed the best line of the episode.
Strike that, reverse it.
You got it. Come on, you tell me this was far and away the best line of the episode.
I must not have it.
When they charged Mr. Freeze.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and like they both went down, and Robin says, I slipped on the baked Alaska.
Yeah, he slept on the baked Alaska.
That's how we took the how we took the bump. He slipped on the baked Alaska, which I thought was wonderful. All right, go ahead, bro. So now you will freeze to death slowly. Only room for one.
Right. And so Batman just is like, okay. And then he just punches him right in the face.
Right.
Or excuse me, as he says, right on the button.
Yes. Yes.
And so he punches Mr. Freeze. He explains that, you didn't count on my super thermal B long underwear. And I'm really confused
Yeah.
because his super thermal B long underwear aren't covering his face like at all. Wouldn't his face be like really cold?
Well,
Anyway,
his thermal, yeah. I mean, his thermal underwear wouldn't be
Mhm.
covering his face, wouldn't be covering his hands. Well, he's
Right.
got the gloves,
Right.
but yeah. He's got
So
the cowl, though. Is that enough?
I don't
I don't
think so,
think
because remember at the beginning of last episode they were in the freezing chamber in the Batcave, which
Yes.
we discussed for like half that episode
Yes.
with the monkeys. Remember the monkeys?
Yes. Yep.
Mhm. Anyway, so he comes out and he goes, "No, I was wearing underwear." And it was
Right.
like, "Well, dude, you were taking pills back in the Batcave to combat this." So I was really confused there. Anyway, he punches Mr. Freeze in the mouth. They get control of the device that, makes the different areas hot and cold, and they make Mr. Freeze's area hot.
But prior, well,
Like jerks.
yeah, well, but hold on though. So when Mr. Freeze is in the hot zone, is that when Mr. Freeze says, "So you were faking it"? No, but back up. That's the flaw in the story.
Mm-hmm. Right. Why was that? This doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
Because he could have, as soon as he woke up, he could have, taken down Mr. Freeze right there.
Right. And not only that, but he did it twice. Remember,
Right.
he went after him. Then it was the hand gimmick.
Right.
Then he went back in. Then he went after him a second time. Meanwhile, he's got the thermal underwear on. He could have just tackled him and been done with it.
He could have done that. Also, he did not. You may say, well, he wouldn't have been able to save Robin. He didn't know Robin was there.
Yeah. So let's pick this apart a little.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he take out Mr. Freeze there?
I don't. I do not know.
I got a theory.
Oh, good. You have a theory.
I got a theory. He was smelling the baked Alaska in the other room.
Oh,
and here's why that works.
Mm-hmm.
We back up now to the scene with Alfred, and the boy wonder is forgetting that Batman's kidnapped as soon as he sees that Sunday. Oh my God, as soon as he sees. So I think the same thing happened with Batman. I think like I'm in this predicament, but is that baked Alaska cooking?
Right. Well, we'll hold that thought.
Okay, go ahead.
If you'd have said, is that the roast beef, then I think this would work.
But I think we've already established the dynamic duo have a sweet tooth.
Well, we'll hold that thought.
Okay, go ahead.
So they beat up Mr. Freeze,
and they're torturing him with the weather gimmick. Now. Yeah, it's torturing him. Yeah,
it was not nice at all.
No,
they just kept like turning it on, turning it off, and turning it on, and turning it off.
Right.
And then his goons come in.
Yeah.
And so they basically make Mr. Freeze a little frozen area that he can stay in until he goes to the cooler.
Yes.
It was, and then they have a fight with the guys, and I was like, man, this fight is really not very good. But then it all turned on a dime when Robin found the polar bear statue. I think it was like a stuffed polar bear, like this. And he takes it and he pushes it at them, which means not only did they have a polar bear, a stuffed mounted polar bear, or it wasn't mounted, it was a stuffed, standing polar bear. And then not only did they have that, it was on wheels.
Yes.
So I like to think that like they do some sometimes you rearrange your living room or what have you. I like to think that Mr. Freeze like does a lot of rearranging, and so he wants to keep that polar bear on wheels.
Yes, to move around. Yeah,
you get that urge.
Yes,
if fall's coming up, we should really sit him over this way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's feasible.
So of course they beat him up. They beat up the goofs. Batman says, 2 against 3, I'd say the odds are even. Yeah, the cops then show up after Batman and Robin have won the fight, and Robin's like, "Dudes, where were you? I called you. I told you where this place was." And then O'Hara doesn't even like try and come up with okay. The police knew where this was.
There's something here.
I told you.
There is something here because Robin says, "What took you so long?" And Chief O'Hara, humna. We took a wrong turn on Route 49.
Right.
What was the whole point of that? There's no point of this. There's no point for the police to show up. They could have dropped the bad guys. Batman and Robin could have shook hands once again. And there was no point for this other than to tell the audience the police arrived late. Okay.
As I have told you.
Well, we got to keep our eye on that.
And who was not there with the police?
Gordon was. O'Hara was leading the charge. Yeah. We have to.
I have told you this.
Yeah.
You're turning to my side by this.
Well,
point.
this was.
I would hope.
This is here for a reason because there was no reason for it to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so that 50 years later, you would have two people that were discussing that how corrupt Commissioner Gordon was.
Exactly.
So we go back. There's this party at the end. Was this at Wayne Manor or where was this?
I don't think this was at Wayne Manor. It looked like it was at some kind of a hotel or something. It was not Wayne Manor.
Well, they were there. They were celebrating. The pitcher was back, and he was having pictures taken with Princess Sandra. Now, was Princess Sandra with this guy?
Yeah, they alluded to that at the end. Yeah, they alluded to that. Thanks to, she said something to the effect of, "Thanks to you, I got to meet him." But what was more disturbing to me was this is a black tie affair and all fancy. Why is Diamante walking around with a baseball?
and he had the full.
Yeah.
Yes. He was.
And he's walking around. He's got the baseball in his hand, which I found
right.
Yeah.
Well, it was also
they're an item. They're an item at this point. Yes.
Okay, so they're an item, but she was also hot for Bruce.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So not only was she kind of a dog, she was also kind of a hoe as well.
I would go more hoe than dog. I'd go more hoe than dog. Yeah.
One does not exclude the other.
Yeah. I don't. I would. Yeah. I don't know about that. But
So. Then Anne Harriet shows up and she's like, "Oh, you're just here in time for dessert." And they wheel out the baked Alaska, to which they both made the PU face.
Bro, I gotta show you something.
Oh,
Talk to the people for a second while I look something up.
Oh, good. This is always enjoyable.
I gotta show you. I gotta show you something because I did do my research. And I'm gonna share the screen, bro.
Oh, we can do that on here?
Yes, we could do that.
Well, why didn't you tell me that? I could have shown you all my notes.
Yeah, hold on, man. I'm going to show you something, bro.
What we're going to get here, kids, get your pencils ready. It's Vince Russo's recipe for baked Alaska. It's going to be delightful.
Hold on, man, because I'm going to be honest with you, bro, and don't be honest with me. I've heard of baked Alaska 1,000 times in my life and had no idea what it was.
Isn't it always lit?
Well,
I thought it was always on fire. I thought that was part of it. Nope, look at this. Oh, I guess it's not.
Bro, look at that. That's baked Alaska, man. Did you know that's what it looked like?
I have had it before. It must not have left like any kind of impression.
Oh, that looks good because I'm looking like kind of spumoni. We got like meringue going on here, and I'm thinking this looks like a chocolate cake. This looks like a little maybe chocolate pudding. Then we got oh my God, bro.
Now I have a question though. Can you do a Google image search for baked Alaska?
Yeah, I could do that. Sure.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
You're thinking one's on fire.
I thought so. I should ask Mrs. Deal. She knows everything. And I don't say that in a facetious manner. Show images. Clear. Make sure Net Nanny's on. I don't want to know what your browser history was.
I've been running into this lately where I'm not.
You don't know how to use Google?
No, I'm not seeing images. I don't know where to look for the images. But I got to tell you, there are quite a few.
I'm just going to take a look. Maybe
there are quite a few pictures.
No, the baked Alaska flambe is what.
See, that must be something different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's just that, but they set it on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So when are you going to make that for me? When are you going to put out the recipe? Is that what I should expect for?
I should try to make those. I should try to make those and have one of them for next week's show.
I'm watching my girlish figure, so I will have to pass.
Okay, and now a very weird ending. I don't ever remember a next week.
They do that from time to time. I don't know that it was. I think that was on the original. I don't think they ever did it in reruns, which would make sense. But what I had remembered hearing was this was something they did in the original run. Is they would sometimes say, next week, such and such and so and so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know that. I don't know that. I want to say that the DVD and Blu-ray releases, they brought that back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on my DVD release. Right. Bro, I got to tell you now, this is our fourth villain.
Fourth villain.
I got to tell you, brain-wise, planning things out, seriousness. I got to tell you, far and away, I'm most impressed by Mr. Freeze here, Dr. Schimmel.
Dr. Shivel.
Shimmer.
Yes.
Shivel.
Dr. Shimmer.
Shivel me timbers. Dr. Shimmer me timbers. Yes, I am more impressed with him than the other three.
I will say that this episode was much better than the first one, the first Mr. Freeze episode. That first one was not good,
right?
And I don't know if it was just the Emmy. How did that man not win an Emmy for this? Do we know he didn't win an Emmy for this?
We don't know, but I think it's a fair, yeah.
But he was almost. I mean, it was. I mean, it really was. I was like, whenever he was saying, I never get to feel a warm summer breeze. I was like, in the way he said it, I was like, this guy's like serious. He's not making a joke of it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he was dead serious, and I felt really bad for him.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, you're over. He wasn't overacting like Vince at the beginning, where that guy was at another level too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But this guy was like, I mean, he was truly acting.
Yes. Now, here's a question. So how exactly did they leave Mr. Freeze, Batman and Robin?
Well, they said they were going to keep him in a cold area until they got him to, however they would. I would assume we made the joke that they put him in an ice cream truck.
Okay, so what are the accommodations for him in jail?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they make it just like his little freeze area.
You don't think
he wears the outfit 24/7? I don't.
You don't think they just throw him in like a meat locker or in the freezer? Yeah, they just put him in the freezer where they serve the prison food.
Right. Maybe they do. They're like, oh man, we're gonna get a side of lamb. Let me go into get the veal out. Make sure you don't run into Vic on the way.
He's sitting in there in the corner.
Right. I like the way you think. We should really dive deeper into this.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Because I mean, I gotta assume if there's a special cell and it's got to be kept 50 police, the taxpayers are paying a lot of money for that,
right? Or maybe they just say, hey, you get to be at prison, you keep your suit on, because when he goes out and about, it's not like he just lives in that. He goes out and about and he wears his spaceman suit.
or we have established that he is a doctor, so maybe he's on the wealthy side and maybe he pays for it.
So, that's good. Maybe
Right?
they just maybe they just kept him in his palatial estate and he's there under house arrest.
He's got the gimmick around his ankle.
Right. Can't go anywhere.
That's not a bad idea either.
Or what they could do is they could just say, okay, fine, you can stay in your house. You know, we have control of the gimmick.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
and
that.
We're just going to keep it cold. This area.
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
or
great.
they just take the gimmick with them to the jail. Well, I guess you would have to do a lot of HVAC. As we said on the last episode, I mean, he could have made a fortune just being an HVAC guy.
Yeah, I dug the red and the blue. I really dug that. I dug that whole thing. Now, here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of any possible threat could Zelda the Great be to Batman and Robin?
Apparently, she was a threat to Ganon. Little Nintendo reference there. I do not know, because I am going to tell you honestly here. I do not remember.
Yeah, I don't either. I know the name. I know the name, but I don't remember the gimmick. I don't remember anything.
If you would have put a gun to my head and said, when does Zelda the Great appear in Batman 66? I would have said it has to be season 3. It has to be season 3. If you'd have said, no, it's episode 9 in season 1, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was like, what on earth is this?
I can't imagine what kind of a threat.
I have no recollection at all. And I have seen these shows over and over and over. I have no recollection of Zelda the Great.
Hold on, I'm going to the Google.
The Google. He also uses the Twitter machine.
The Legend of Zelda. Okay, I see that. Zelda the Great, Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's not a bad-looking broad at that, I'll tell you.
Vince Russo's not a bad-looking broad.com. I'm sure that URL's not taken.
Look, man, she's got a whole gimmick.
Look at that.
Look at this. Yeah, let me make it bigger for you.
Mm-hmm. No, please. Do you know how to make this?
Okay, here we go. Look, Zelda the Great.
I don't see a picture of her. Is there a picture of her?
I'll go back.
Have you figured out how to look for images yet?
Yeah, I use. Sometimes I figure it out. Sometimes I don't. Is the 9th episode of Batman? The story concludes in a death worse than fate.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't want the synopsis. I want a little bit more on the character. It's not giving me more on the character.
Mm-hmm. Who is the woman that portrays this?
I'm gonna go.
Or just pull up pictures. We'll figure out the rest later. If you can figure out how to do a Google image search.
Here she is. See now. Here, if I hit images here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this is here she is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little old.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe. We will see. We'll see what Zelda the Great.
Oh wait, but hold on. But maybe the gimmick is she's got Captain Kangaroo with her over here.
Maybe if Captain Kangaroo makes an appearance, all will be forgiven. That's pretty crazy, though. Whenever you Google Zelda the Great, you only get like 3 rows before it just delves into anything and everything else on planet Earth.
Yes.
So this is a very obscure villain. I don't know what that is. I probably for the best. Don't stop.
Oh, look
Spoiling
at the Batman!
everything.
Look at the Batman gimmick, the shadow. Nice. Okay, maybe there's something to this episode. All right, let's stop sharing.
Yeah.
All right, get a little. Let's get a little.
Well, we'll have to see. We will of course grade her on our personal bat polls as we're wont to do.
Gosh. Oh, do we have to grade this episode?
Well, I think we graded the villain. Well, you graded the villain.
Yeah.
So you're saying he is so far the best villain.
Smartest by far.
He's very technically savvy.
Yeah, what yeah. See, I wish with these episodes, like I wish there's too many things going on.
Right.
Because to me, this episode should have been about him seeking revenge on Batman for what Batman did to him. I don't know why we're involving the diamond and all this. And I got to tell you, why are we doing that? There always seems to be too many plot stories going on. Right?
That's Vince Russo saying there are too many plot stories, too many plots
All
going
right.
on.
Okay.
Just for the record, I hope everyone caught that.
Yeah. All right, listen, RD. Tell everybody what's going on with you, man. You got a lot of things happening, man.
WrestleCrap.com. This week, I hope to be able to have I'm actually going to do a recollection.
Nice.
Of when I went here.
Niagara Falls.
You're not seeing what it is. It's not just Niagara Falls. It's WWE Niagara Falls.
What is that?
It was a gimmick place up in Niagara Falls.
Really?
And yes, absolutely. They had a retail store there.
Wow.
And they had a ride there.
A WWE ride?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The Pile Driver.
What year is that?
This would have been like 2000. Let me see if there's a date on the back of this.
I wonder if is it still around?
No. It's gone. Let me see if I have a picture. These are actually my personal photos.
Well, I went that. There. Impressive, yeah.
Yeah, here you go. That's the Pile Driver right there.
Oh my gosh, look at that, huh?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. I actually, on my old show, I'd always drink from the WWE Niagara Falls Cup.
So how did you find out about that place?
I think I must. I mean, I was up there for. I was up there for vacation,
right?
And me and Mrs. Deal, and yeah, we. I don't know if we knew of it beforehand or if it was something we saw. Oh, look, there it is, and we just went there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a retail store. I mean, you're talking. This was. I'm surprised you don't have any. I don't know when it opened. That's one of the things I'll be researching. But I want to say I was there in 2002, 2003.
Wow.
Early 2000s.
Never even knew of the place.
Yeah. Well, actually, let me take a look because here's some stuff they had some handprints on there. You'll be able to tell our buddy about this. You could probably ask him about it because, whoops, not her. See who that is?
Val Venus.
Yes.
Wow. I got to ask him about that. Interesting, man.
Yeah, they have his handprints right there.
Wow.
Or his fingerprints. Maybe he was stealing or something.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So you're going to recollect about that.
Yes, I'm going to do my personal tales of what I remember from WWE New York, or excuse me, WWE Niagara Falls, because everybody always thinks of WWE New York,
that I know,
the restaurant, or they think of the Nitro Grill that was out at the Excalibur. People will remember that. I think this is a forgotten piece of history.
Yeah, absolutely,
and
man.
the only WWE ride ever, I believe.
Wow.
I don't think there's ever been another one. The ride sucked, so it falls into WrestleCrap. WrestleCrap.com, kids. Yes. 21 years of the very worst of pro wrestling.
Awesome.
See how I did that?
Awesome. Author of books.
Yes. WrestleCrap, the very worst of wrestling. The Death of WCW and the WrestleCrap Book of Lists! ! And yeah, and these days I spend my time talking about Batman villains.
Yes.
Batman 66.
Yes.
With my former nemesis.
Yes.
Vince Russo.
Now, are we going to do something soon for your Patreon people?
Yes, what I was going to ask is, I want you to watch an AEW show this week.
Just the hour, though. Just the hour.
We will do Rampage.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. I got to write that down. My assignment book.
RAMPAGE.
Okay.
Rampage.
Okay. So I will watch this Friday. I'll probably watch it on DVR. I can't sit there for an hour. But I'm going to do that.
Attention difficulties.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I always do a running commentary on Old Man social media, aka Facebook, WrestleCrap RD on Facebook, WrestleCrap RD on Twitter. But you can hang out there, and then I will let people know that you and I are going to review it. So they probably will have questions, and we will do that after our show, after our Joker's Mustache next week.
Next week. Okay. So I definitely got to watch it before next Thursday. Okay.
Next Tuesday. Yes.
What am I thinking?
It's okay. You're all out of sorts. Look at you. You're wearing that tank top. You look like you're sweating. You need Mr. Freeze in there, freezing a little blue area for you.
Yeah. All right. So I got to watch on before Tuesday. I will do that. I will do that. I got to make sure I tape it. Okay. Sounds like a plan. And we're going to actually review this show.
Yes, we are going to review Rampage.
Okay.
This week's Rampage.
But you're not going to get hot at me because I see a lot of your tweets and stuff, and you're a big AEW fan.
As I've said many times, I am a fan of AEW. At times, I think I'm more a fan of the idea of AEW than I am a fan of AEW. But there's a lot of things they do that's really,
bro.
really
Listen,
good.
I tell you, here's the two things I don't like. Because
do you think I'm gonna get hot at you?
No.
If I was gonna get hot at you, wouldn't I have gotten hot at you years ago?
Here's the two things that I don't like.
Okay.
The long wrestling matches I don't like because of my attention span, too long. And the flippity floppity I don't like. That when it makes no sense psychology wise.
Okay.
Because I have a big problem with this, RD. Here's the thing. To me, the whole idea of wrestling is you've got to pin your opponent in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, right? That's it. Pretty much, you got to pin your opponent in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, right? So if that's the object of wrestling, then my question always is, then why am I jumping to the outside of the ring on top of a lot of people? So now I got to hope I don't hurt myself. Now I got to pick up the dead carcass. Now I've got to somehow get the carcass back in. See, that doesn't make any sense to me because the objective is to pin your opponent in the middle of the ring.
Do you know a wrestler named the Berserker?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he was in the WWF,
right,
in the early 90s,
right,
he would choose not to win by pinfall.
Right.
He would throw his opponent out of the ring and he'd win by countout.
Right.
Maybe that's the idea.
But that was the character, the Berserker, thus the name.
Mm-hmm. And the Berserker sucked. So I'm helping your argument.
Is that Jungle Man's gimmick? Jungle Man, I'm going to throw the guy outside of the ring. Is that his
gimmick? This is going to be so fun.
Jungle Man,
mangling,
the other guy, Spud, who's the other little guy?
Everyone's name.
Scudero, the little guy, Marco Scudero.
We'll see you next week. Same bat time.
Wait, before I say that, I want to let you know, RD, for you, because of how highly I think of you, I have not watched an episode of AEW since January 24th, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8 months. 8 months.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. For you, I'm going to watch this show.
And I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to be on this Friday.
Okay, and I'm going to be very fair. I will tell you, when something is good, I say it's good. When I think something, when I think something stinks, I say it stinks.
Yeah.
I even put the WWE over last night for the first time in a very, 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 very long time. They made the main event important. It meant something.
You know, it's too bad you won't watch a 2-hour show, because there's a different show coming up that would probably be much more interesting for us to watch. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Which one?
AEW is going to Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Right.
Have you heard about this? They've sold 19,000 tickets.
That's where the rumor was Daniel Bryan was supposed to show up.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Would you be willing to watch that and review
now? That's going to be on an episode of Dynamite.
Yes, sir.
When is that?
I think it's the end of this month.
I will watch that for you. You want to do that one?
We will do that one instead.
Okay. You just got to remind me of the date.
I will remind you of the date, Pap.
I will do that. I will watch that because they'll pull out all the stops. This is a big show.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. That will be a very good one for you and I to review. I will definitely watch that with you. I am not going to watch anything AEW until I watch the one with you. Okay. I will let you know when that is. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now you got to do the gimmick. Well, you're supposed to start it. Okay. All right, everybody. For me and the great R.D. Reynolds and our sympathy. Hey, listen, our sympathy to Mr. Freeze. I think we both think Mr. Freeze was the victim here. There was never a Batman apology. There was never an I'm sorry. No attempt to mend the fences. So now I'm questioning Batman heel babyface. We got the big question of why are the police arriving on time? There's a lot of open-ended stuff now. So we will be back next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel.